We are back for another episode of the Abbott World Marathon Majors in Conversation With, and this week I am delighted to be catching up with Dorothy Beal. Dorothy describes herself as a runner, a writer, and a body positive activist who believes that runners come in all shapes and sizes, and that if you run, you have a runner's body. Dorothy, it is great to see you again. How have you been over the last 5 or 6 months?
Good. Thank you so much for having me on. It's weird to say I'm good because, it's kind of been a roller coaster for everybody, but all things considered, yes, I am good.
That's great. Now, just give us a flavour of what you normally would do on a daily basis with your work and running. I know those two are very much intertwined, and how that's changed since the running scene has had to adapt.
Yeah, so I guess there is no normal day anymore. I have 3 kids and I came home. I ran my last marathon the first weekend in March, right before everything got shut down. And I came home and 3 days later, school was canceled. And I thought it was like a short period of time. And they haven't gone back to school since, and they will be distance learning in the fall. So I'm kind of just trying to juggle running and being a mom and still trying to work from home. So yeah, I've tried to get into like a routine of figuring out, well, I'll run at this time and work at this time, and it just hasn't happened. So I know what I need to get done that day, and it just fits in like Lego pieces wherever it happens.
So tell us a little bit about your work, because you have an interesting job and it is very much running related. And I know people follow you in social, but tell people, what you do and how that sort of all came about, really.
Yeah, so it's kind of hard to explain, and people are like, "Well, what exactly do you do?" But yeah, so I've always, well, I shouldn't say always, but once I became a runner, I realized that I really loved the running industry, and not just actually running for myself, but the whole industry of races and apparel and shoes and all of that kind of stuff. So I started working in the running industry shortly after college, and through a series of events, I ended up becoming a stay-at-home mom, but I still wanted to stay in the running industry or in some way make myself relevant enough that when I went back to work, I was able to just go right back in. And so in 2009, I started a blog just kind of as a way to not annoy my friends and family with talking about running all the time, but then also just to kind of stay in contact with my friends in the running industry. And at the time, I thought it was like this new idea, like, oh, I'm going to talk about running. Like I had only seen mommy blogs, and I knew I didn't want to talk about my kids online. And so I thought I had this great idea. And it turns out there was thousands upon thousands of other people that were blogging about running. But it was in the early stages of when blogging first started taking off. So I was able to turn my blog and then subsequent social media accounts into a business. And so I do a lot of social media content creation and social media consulting for brands and then other people that are working on their social media. Freelance writing, I have my own website, I blog, and it's kind of like a whole bunch of different things all put together. But yeah, so it literally is my job to run.
It really is, and you share your journey. And let's talk about your marathon journey specifically. You first ran your marathon back in 2003, and you've run more than 40 since, which is incredible. And you've really improved your pace. You've got faster as you've gone along the process. Just share some of that story with us.
Yeah, I ran my first marathon in 2003, and I actually ran my first World Marathon Major in 2004. So I've actually been on the 6-star journey for a very long time. But yeah, I obviously my goal for my first one was just to finish. And I think that there's something about crossing the finish line of a marathon where you're like, wait a second, I think I could have done that a little bit faster. And so, yeah, over the years, I've just tried to push myself a little bit harder. I've trained, I've tried every single training program that's out there, and have improved my time. I think there was a period of time where all I really cared about was the time on the clock. And now for me, I mean, times are cool and getting faster is fun, but at the same time, like, it doesn't matter to me when I finish a race, what it says on the clock. It's really more about the experience.
So as we sit here today, like you said, you ran your first World Marathon Major in 2004, and you are well on your way to becoming a 6-star finisher. Which majors are waiting for you still, and how has the journey overall been so far?
I just have London left, which is like painful to say because it was just canceled. But I'm trying to find the silver linings. And I mean, I've been on this journey obviously for such a long time that to me it's like, okay, well, it's another year, and it's another year of looking forward to that moment. And so I know that when I cross the finish line and get my medal, it's going to feel even more special than maybe it would have felt last April, which is crazy, crazy that it's already been that long. But yeah, I mean, it's really been a wild experience. I loved the international races, Tokyo and Berlin. I mean, I love them all. They're all amazing. There's something just so extra special about Tokyo and Berlin, and almost surreal when you're running and you look around and you're just like, I'm in Tokyo running a marathon. So yeah, sometimes I get speechless and like tripped up on my words because it's such a crazy experience that you really cannot describe to people. People have to experience it for themselves. And then when they do, you're kind of like in this little club of people that's like, you know, we all gush about the World Marathon Majors together.
Well, I can hear how much it means to you, and you are a 6-star hopeful, and you know that you're going to get the chance to run London, which is really, really exciting. Another international one for you, which is great. You often talk, Dorothy, about the importance of body positivity and body image, and I think that really applies to males as much as it does females. How do you define sort of body positive, and how do people adapt to that mind shift? Because you always, you know, have that sort of positive outlook.
Yeah, so I think there was a period of time. I mean, when I became a runner, I didn't necessarily feel like I fit in at the time. I mean, I know I don't necessarily look old enough to be old, but I've been running for a long time. And when I first started, like, there was just one body type that I saw, and it was on the cover of magazines, and it was plastered on billboards when you went to marathon expos. And so there was a period of time where I thought in order to be taken seriously as a runner, I had to both get faster and then also look like the people that I saw. And so I kind of had to go on this whole long journey of just realizing that, you know, if you run, you are a runner, and you're not any better of a runner or more dedicated if you look a certain way. And so, yeah, I mean, I think that it takes a lot of inner work, but then I feel that it's a lot has changed in the industry, and a lot has changed in magazines. I mean, you see people with different body types now, and social media has done this too, where you can see that people that run don't all look the same. So I think that I'm rambling a little bit. I think that it's easy for anybody to kind of fall into that trap, male, female, older, younger. But I think the more that people with different body types that aren't necessarily the stereotypical ideal that we've seen for so long, the more you see those people on social media, or the more you see them on magazine ads, or the more you see them, you know, when you go to an expo, the more the story changes on the outside, and then you can change that story on the inside.
I absolutely agree. Have you found that there are any other sort of topics that you've been writing about or being asked about more over the last few months aside from that?
Yeah, so I mean, obviously there are tons of people that are becoming runners right now, and it's so exciting. And, you know, I mean, obviously this pandemic is not something to be happy about, excited about. It's not something that we all wish that we were going through, but if you're looking for the silver linings, there are so many people that have found running during this time. And for me, that feels really exciting, that hopefully all of these people will stick with it and they will be inspired. And, you know, there'll be another running boom right now because of this pandemic. So I've been getting a lot of questions about, you know, new stuff like, how do I do this? How do I prevent shin splints? How do I prevent injuries? Shoe questions. And that's been hard too, because not everybody can get to a shoe store to be fitted right now. So just a lot of questions like that. Also, for people that have been running for a long time, there's been a lot of, hey, I got overly ambitious because I was at home and I had more time and I could run more. And now I'm dealing with, you know, these aches and pains or injuries. So how do I kind of pull it back, heal myself, but also still be able to go forward with my goals? And then motivation has been a really hard point for a lot of people. I think that some people are intrinsically motivated and can keep running irregardless of races being canceled. But for a lot of people, races are what keep us going, you know? And even if you're intrinsically motivated, it is, I mean, I'm intrinsically motivated, but even I'm finding it hard to, you know, hey, why am I doing this long run? You know, like I love it, but also there's no race finish line at the end. So I think motivation has been a theme that a lot of people have been asking about.
Yeah, and what have you learned most about your running during this time, and what are you most looking forward to? I know you love racing, but when things start getting back to a sense of normal, what are you most excited about?
I guess I've learned that I am correct in my thinking that I just love running in general. I think for a long time I said that if there were no races, I would be fine. Like, oh, I can just run for the rest of my life. But I think I'm realizing more and more that that's not necessarily true. Like, if races ceased to exist, I would still run. But I love races. I love the people. I love the places. I love traveling. I love all of that stuff that goes with it. I love, you know, talking to people who've run the same races that I've run and recounting stories after. So I am, without a doubt, I might go a little crazy when everything comes back, but I am without a doubt looking forward to marathon finish lines again. And I don't want to rush it, because I definitely, you know, I want, things are going to be different, but I want that same thing. I want to hug a volunteer at the end. Like, I want to be close to people. And so I'm willing to wait to get back to the way it was, you know?
Yeah, and I think it'll be worth the wait, and I think we'll all value it a little bit more and appreciate what we had before when it starts to come back.
Yeah. And it's just like little things that I didn't think that really mattered during the race. Now I'm just like, you know, I can't wait to see an orange, like little kids handing out oranges on a sideline, and just take those oranges just to take them, you know, or being at the finish and you're all crammed together in that chute waiting to get your heat sheet and stuff. And when you're tired and exhausted, it can be like, gosh, why are all these people around me? But like, I can't wait to be squished into a chute. Like I'm definitely going to soak up the moment more when it comes back.
Well, I don't think you're alone. And in the meantime, you are a great mentor and somebody that really provides a lot of inspiration in the running world across the world. So thank you for that. And thanks for always supporting everything that we do, Dorothy. And we will see you in London. We know that it's coming. We know that your 6-star journey
finish line is going
there.
to be there one day.
So we can't wait for that to happen. And in the meantime, stay safe and keep enjoying running.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Bye.